Hey, this is Megan from craftingcreative.com, and I help creative entrepreneurs to craft websites that bring in more of their dream customers without spending loads of money on a designer. And today, I want to talk to you about the 5 common mistakes I see online business owners making with their business websites. So essentially, these 5 mistakes all stem from the same cause: overthinking. You are overthinking it, and that's making this whole web design process much harder than it really is. This makes your website like the barrier between where you are now and where you want to be in business, and you're not moving forward because of it. So my job is to remove that barrier. I'm here to make your website easy and effective without having to hire an expensive designer. So you can do this yourself, I promise. So let's start by fixing these 5 mistakes. Mistake number 1, your colors don't work together. So there are so many articles about how to put together a color palette, choosing colors for your brand, or color psychology. And I think that these articles are leading you to believe that it's more difficult than it really is. I've even had people ask me about putting together a free course or a guide on choosing color palettes, but you don't need a course because it's not hard. I'll tell you right now my foolproof method for choosing your colors. You really only need 4 colors. So one of them is white, or like really close to white, and the other one is black or a dark gray. And then the third one is your primary color. So this is a color that speaks to your brand and doesn't repel your target audience. And the last one is your button color, which is a complementary color to your primary color. So here's where you could get into a bit of color psychology if you wanted to. For instance, if you're targeting both men and women, then you would stick to a shade of blue or green for your primary color and avoid brown or orange. But again, I'll caution you not to overthink it. So you don't need to choose the exact color that's opposite on the color wheel to your primary color, because sometimes that ends up looking like baby poo. But you would want to stay in the same color family. So for example, if you choose a nice shade of blue for your primary color, your button color would be a shade of orange. So it's not like necessarily the exact opposite on the color wheel, but it's in the same family. It could be more reddish orange, but it's not going to be like a green or a purple. Does that make sense? So of course you don't have to follow these rules at all, but if you're one of the people that tends to get stuck in overthinking things, then please just follow these steps, make your life easier, and get things done. So the second mistake I see is your logo has way too much going on. So what makes an effective logo? I'm glad you asked. Once again, this mistake comes down to overthinking. So you think you need to have an icon and a circle around it and 3 different colors and 2 different fonts, but you don't at all. An effective logo is simple. Simple is sexy. Like, if I teach you nothing else from this lesson, please remember that. Simplifying is going to make your website better and more effective. Second thing, a logo needs to look good in black. So even if the final display logo is 2 colors, you want the logo to look good in a single shade of dark gray or white. And also it needs to be scalable. If you shrink it down to a super tiny size or blow it up to massive proportions, it should still look good and stand for your brand. So I did write a step-by-step tutorial on the exact process that I use to design effective logos, which you're welcome to try out for yourself. And you can find that on the blog, craftingcreative.com/blog. All right, the third mistake is inconsistent typographic hierarchy. So when it comes to fonts, just like when it comes to every other element of design that I'm teaching you here, less is more. Don't use more than 2 fonts on your website. Yes, a person can use 3, and I've seen that done well, but I'm not sure that you're ready for that. So just stick to 2. Use 1 font for your headlines and one font for your body text. Now, once you've selected your headline font and body font, it's important that they're always consistent in size. Also, the scale would go like this. Heading 1 is the largest, heading 2 comes next, heading 3 is a bit smaller, and then the body copy, which should be no smaller than 16 pixels, ideally between 18 and 24 pixels. The last thing about typography is that you need to allow more white space around your paragraphs. So give your words room to breathe and keep your paragraphs under 75 characters wide for ideal readability. And let's face it, people don't read websites anymore, they scan them. So by designing your text in this way, you're also optimizing it for scannability. All right, the fourth mistake, your layout is an afterthought. So as a user experience designer, much of my focus is centered on the website structure because the layout of your website actually is very important. It matters a lot. So one thing about the navigation is that the data shows that having your logo in the center is not as effective as having it to the left. Also, in your navigation, if you're using drop-down menus, the users aren't likely to navigate to those pages because they're hidden, and you need to put the important things up front, because if a user has to go on an Easter egg hunt to find something, then she's just going to leave. Third, you want to keep your main navigation to 7 links or fewer, because the human brain can only hold like 7 pieces of information at one time, or something like that. And lastly, your top navigation should be at the top of the page, not halfway down the page, not below your logo and your tagline. So if you're ready to get your website homepage into shape, then I have created the perfect free resource for you. And I'm calling it the Money Making Homepage Blueprint. And it comes with a wireframe, which is the blueprint part, and that lays out the exact step-by-step structure that you need to craft a killer homepage. I've also included a plug-and-play copy template to get your homepage copy on point, and a 30-minute video workshop walking you through exactly how to put it together in Squarespace. Now, the last mistake, your site doesn't pass the 5-second test. So if I asked a bunch of people to look at your homepage, but only gave them 5 seconds to view it, would they be able to tell me what your business is about and who you serve? The truth is, probably not. You want to make sure your homepage is instantly conveying who you serve and what you do and how you're different. So that's where the Money Making Homepage Blueprint is so great, because it has that plug-and-play copy template. It makes it really easy for you to know exactly what you need to be saying. So side note about 5-second tests, I use Usability Hub because they make it super easy with pre-built templates to survey your own audience or pay a small fee to get outside people to take your test, and it's totally worth it. So to wrap things up, simple is sexy. Stop overthinking it because you're making it so much harder than it actually is, and trust the process, or in this case, the blueprint. All right, so go over to foolproofwebsiteformula.com and grab that.